How can I be expected to atone for the sins of my previous incarnations, like we say in Kriyas Shema every night?
Just think about the question you just asked. How can I atone for the sins I committed in a previous gilgul? The connotation here is I'm fixing something bad. Or to say it as you really mean it, I'm suffering because of something bad that somebody else did. And that's not the intent. The intent is this. We all have a mission. When I say we, I mean our soul. Every soul has a mission. And the soul's mission is comprehensive. This is discussed at length in the Sha'ar HaGilgulim and the Sefer HaGilgulim, and then it finds its way in a very concise but crisp form in Tanya chapter 37, Perek Lamed Zayin. And also in Iggeres HaKedesh Chavtes. Every neshama has to do many things. And those many things include such things as learning the whole Torah on all levels, doing each one of the Tayag mitzvahs, and other things, including also elevating your part of the world, Chelke Beilam, your piece of the world. Every one of the 600,000 original neshamas, which left Egypt, was given 1/600,000th of the earth to elevate. A neshama is given the tools necessary to fulfill its purpose. Every neshama completes at least a part of its purpose. What is left over is what's not done. So what's not done is a gilgul. And there's a huge misunderstanding about gilgulim, a really, really basic misunderstanding about gilgulim. People see reincarnation in going up to heaven, sitting in a meeting, and a bunch of people smoking cigarettes or cigars deciding that you didn't finish your job and turning you around and sending you back out. It's not at all how it is. Gilgul neshamas doesn't mean a neshama coming back. There's no such concept. Gilgul neshamas means your neshama came into this world. It completed a certain percentage of its mission, returned to heaven, and there's left over. So they take one spark, like one cell, from the parent neshama, and create a new neshama from that spark. So before you go any further, it's a net gain. If your neshama did not have a gilgul, you wouldn't be sitting in Gan Eden. You wouldn't exist. You'd be a hair follicle. You'd be a cell on a parent neshama from a higher world. Every event of gilgul is not the same soul coming back again. It's taking off. The expression in Kabbalah is onaf min hasherish, a branch from a root, and a whole new soul is born. So gilgul is automatically a net gain. Every time there's a gilgul, there's a new soul that exists that would not have existed if the parent soul had completed all of its mission. Now, obviously, this secondary neshama, this child neshama, is on a much lower level, but it's complete. Complete means it has its own essence, has its own yechida, and theoretically it can access in infinity, but its form is limited, much more limited than the parent neshama, because it has a lesser task. It comes into this world and it needs to complete what the parent neshama did not complete. And of course, this is where the Me'ashem Mitzad the Gever Kainanu comes in. In other words, we have no idea what our mission is. We have no way of knowing what sparks we're meant to elevate and what little mitzvahs we need to do to fulfill our purpose as a gilgul. God Almighty brings us to a place and to a time, and we hopefully do the right thing and finish our mission. Let's say we don't. So we come to heaven, and there's another discussion, and they take a spark from the child neshama and create a grandchild neshama, which is even smaller. And again, there's an automatic net gain, because now there's a new soul. And that's how gilgulim work. So it's not a question of suffering for our ancestors or being punished for our ancestors. It's since our ancestors failed to finish their mission, we're being created to complete it. And it's the greatest blessing in the world. Why? Because if my parent neshama completes its mission, I don't exist. I'm a piece of him. The simplest example for this is Adam and Chava. Adam and Chava were two people. If they fulfilled their mission, nobody is born. All the souls that could ever exist would have been represented, as the Zohar describes it, as cells of Adam and Chava's body. Anvin de Talian be itkel, like grapes hanging from a cluster. Adam and Chava's failure introduced the need for gilgulim, and the good news is that's why we're born. And the better news is once a neshama is created through the process of gilgul, even if the process of gilgul is rooted in a chsaron, in a deficiency, in a failure, because if our parent soul fulfills its mission, we never come into existence. But once we're created to complete their task, we're forever. And we have Kriyas Shema, and we'll be there in Elam Haba and in the times of Mashiach, even though we're a smaller neshama. So understand that Gilgulim has two sides. One side of Gilgul is the reflection of failure, and the other side of Gilgul is Kal Kalaseinu Zu Etekonaseinu. It's the most incredible upside from the downside. Because we failed and we stay in Golus more, there are simply more souls that are going to exist in more bodies in Elam Atchiyah. And that's the Pshat in the Gemara, that Ein Ben David Ba At Yechelu Kol HaNeshamas Shebaguf. And Rashi says, Eitzel Yesh Lamay L'Shashmei Guf. Neshamas exist in a treasure called Guf. And every neshama has to emerge from that Eitzel Neshamas called Guf, come down into physical bodies, and then Mashiach comes. But the Guf changes. If an earlier generation didn't complete its missions, so there's more lesser neshamas on a lower level of Guf that in the next generation need to fulfill their purpose before Mashiach could come. And of course the good news is that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu Chishav is a kates. There can always be more birudim and there can always be more gilgulim. At a certain point the Eibusha says it's enough. And Mashiach comes. And that's the way the Rebbe teaches it to us, the time we're in right now.